Adin Ross is done for. An NBA superstar pulled the plug on a $1 million collab. Industry bosses sent enforcers to his door. And then, gunshots. Real bullets. This whole situation has the internet spinning, because what started as disrespect just turned into a life-or-death nightmare. Everybody thought they knew the full story about Adin Ross and his Doechii drama. Just another streamer talking reckless online, right? Another clout-chasing controversy that would blow over in a week. That was the version everyone repeated. But now, leaked calls, canceled NBA deals worth millions, and a shooting incident involving his inner circle got the whole narrative twisting. This isn't internet beef anymore. This is industry intervention. This is financial destruction. This is brushes with real-world death. And the craziest part? It all traces back to one moment of disrespect that nobody saw coming. Let me break down exactly how this exploded, because the details are insane. It started with Adin Ross on his live stream doing what he does, running his mouth. He made disrespectful comments about rapper Doechii, treating her like she was just another name to mock for content. Standard internet troll behavior, right? Wrong, because Doechii isn't just some random artist. She's signed to Dawg Entertainment. Yeah, that TDE, the same label that built Kendrick Lamar, SZA, and Schoolboy Q into legends. You don't disrespect TDE artists without consequences, and the consequences came fast. According to Adin's own on-stream confession, he had a massive collaboration lined up with a very famous NBA superstar. We're talking someone whose name alone would have brought millions of views, brand deals, and legitimacy to his platform. This wasn't just content. This was a career-defining moment, the kind of collab that separates internet personalities from actual media moguls. But then, it vaporized. Adin revealed live that the NBA player's PR team allegedly hit the panic button at the last second. The deal was killed. No explanation given publicly, just a sudden ghosting that left Adin scrambling. Translation: Adin Ross became too radioactive to touch. His reputation as someone who crosses lines apparently got back to the athlete's management, and they wanted nothing to do with the liability. Think about it. NBA players are brands. They have endorsement deals worth tens of millions of dollars. Nike, Gatorade, luxury car companies. These partnerships depend on clean public images. One wrong association, one viral clip with the wrong person, and sponsors start making phone calls. The risk wasn't worth it, so they pulled the plug. But that was only the beginning of Adin's nightmare. Behind the scenes, whispers turns into emergency phone calls. This is where it gets even darker. Sources claim that Dawg Entertainment allegedly wasn't just upset, they took action. Reports say TDE dispatched industry heavyweight Wack 100 to deliver a message directly to Adin Ross. And for anyone who doesn't know, Wack 100 isn't just some random manager. This dude has ties throughout the industry, connections that run deep, and a reputation for handling problems when artists get disrespected. The alleged message was simple and terrifying. Stand down or get erased. This wasn't internet beef anymore. This was grown men with resources making it clear that there are real consequences for disrespect. Adin Ross suddenly wasn't just dealing with Twitter trolls or YouTube drama channels. He was dealing with people who could actually end his career with a few phone calls. And you could see the shift happen in real time. The same Adin Ross who was swinging wildly online, making jokes, acting untouchable, publicly retreated. He went live and promised to stop disrespecting Doechii. No apology tour, no accountability, no deep reflection on why his behavior was wrong. Just a tactical withdrawal that screamed one thing: fear. Fans online immediately noticed the change in energy. Comments flooded in saying, "Yo, Adin looks shook." Others said, "He got that phone call for real." The bravado was gone. The jokes stopped. This was someone who realized he'd crossed a line he didn't even know existed. Then Adin tried to spin the narrative and save face. He went live again claiming the NBA deal was actually back on and happening within 48 hours. He hyped it up, saying everything was good, trying to convince his audience that he was still winning despite everything falling apart. But there was one massive problem. No truth, no names, no receipts, no screenshots of texts, no confirmation from the athlete's team, nothing. Insiders immediately questioned whether this was a desperate face-saving move as his credibility bled out in real time. Online detectives went to work, searching for any evidence that this mystery NBA deal was real. They checked rosters, recent social media activity from players, cross-referenced schedules, and found nothing. No smoke, no fire. Just Adin's word, which at this point had lost all weight. People online started speculating wildly about who the NBA player even was. Some names thrown around included Michael Porter Jr., based purely on past interactions and vibes, but again, no confirmation, just internet theories spiraling out of control while Adin's reputation continued to collapse. And then, the situation took a turn that nobody saw coming. Now let's get into the motive and the backstory, because this is where everything starts clicking into place. Understanding why Adin Ross acts the way he does explains how this entire disaster became inevitable. Adin Ross built his career on controversy. That's not opinion, that's fact. From the very beginning, his rise wasn't based on elite gaming skills or groundbreaking content innovation, it was based on shock value. He brought rappers, internet personalities, and polarizing figures onto a stream and let chaos unfold. Andrew Tate appearances, sketchy crypto promotions, constant boundary pushing that kept him in the algorithm's favor. And for a while, it worked. At his peak, reports say Adin was pulling in millions per year. Kick's streaming platform reportedly paid him a deal worth over $100 million to leave Twitch and become their flagship creator. Brand deals rolled in. He was living in mansions, driving Lamborghinis, flexing designer clothes like he was untouchable. The clout was endless. But here's the thing about building your brand on controversy. Eventually, the controversy consumes you. Adin's content started attracting the wrong kind of attention, not just from haters or drama channels, but from powerful people who didn't appreciate being disrespected or associated with his antics. The same shock value that built his empire started becoming a liability. Sponsors got nervous, platforms started monitoring him more closely, and other creators began distancing themselves because being linked to Adin Ross meant inheriting his baggage. That kind of fall off hits different when you've tasted the top. Now compare Adin's current situation to someone like Doechii, the artist he disrespected. She's on the rise. TDE backing, critical acclaim, Grammy buzz. Her career trajectory is going up while Adin's is questionable at best. That creates a specific type of frustration. When you're watching someone you disrespected continue winning while your own deals are falling apart, it messes with your head. And Adin had already been dealing with controversies that were chipping away at his reputation before this incident. He'd been accused of promoting questionable gambling sites to his young audience. He faced backlash for platforming people with dangerous ideologies. Former friends and collaborators publicly cut ties with him, saying his behavior had become too reckless. Each controversy isolated him further, making him more desperate for the next big moment that would prove he was still relevant. That desperation is what led to the Doechii disrespect. He needed content. He needed attention. He needed to remind people that Adin Ross was still a name that mattered. So he said something disrespectful about a rising artist, probably thinking it would just be another viral moment that blew over. He didn't account for the fact that Doechii had real power behind her. He didn't consider that TDE isn't just a record label, it's a machine that protects its artists. And here's where the psychology gets even deeper. Adin Ross has spent years in an echo chamber where his chat hyped him up no matter what he said. Thousands of viewers spamming emotes, telling him he's the GOAT, encouraging increasingly reckless behavior because it made for entertaining streams. That creates a distorted reality where consequences feel impossible. You start believing you're untouchable because nobody in your immediate circle is checking you, until the real world reminds you otherwise. The NBA deal falling through was the first crack in that delusion. That was the moment Adin realized clout doesn't equal respect. Millions of followers don't mean protection, and talking reckless online can cost you in ways that actually hurt. But even that wasn't enough to fully snap him out of it. He still tried to save face, still tried to spin the narrative, still clung to the idea that he could just create another viral moment and everything would go back to normal. That's the addict mentality of someone hooked on internet validation. The metrics, the views, the engagement, it becomes a drug, and when it starts drying up, you make increasingly desperate moves to get that hit again.
Then came the alleged Wack 100 involvement, which reportedly shook Adin to his core. Having someone from the actual industry, someone with real connections and real power, allegedly show up in your business changes the game entirely. This wasn't a Twitter beef. This wasn't drama that could be ignored by logging off. This was someone making it clear that actions have consequences, and those consequences can follow you offline. Adin's immediate backpedaling after that alleged confrontation showed exactly how scared he was. The joke stopped. The bravado disappeared. He went from mocking Doechii to promising he'd never disrespect her again, and it happened almost overnight. But the damage was already done. The NBA deal was gone. His credibility was shattered. His reputation as someone reliable enough for major collaborations was in ruins. And worst of all, the situation was about to get even darker in ways that nobody knew, including Adin himself, could predict. Put all that together and you see the perfect recipe for disaster. A creator chasing relevance, a history of reckless behavior, powerful enemies, and a complete lack of understanding about where the line actually is. That combination doesn't just create drama, it creates catastrophe.
But here's the part that really hits different. And honestly, this is where the whole story shifts from internet drama to something that makes you step back and go, wait, this is real. The one who got caught in the middle of all this wasn't Adin Ross. It was someone from his inner circle, someone who was just there, probably thinking they were part of a normal day in the life of an internet celebrity. That person was Convi, a close associate who'd been appearing on Adin's streams regularly. Then, gunshots. Real bullets, real danger, real terror. Reports and leaked footage claim that Convi was caught in a shooting incident with bullets allegedly fired at the vehicle he was riding in. This wasn't clickbait. This wasn't exaggerated for views. This was an actual life-threatening situation that could have ended with someone dead. And Adin Ross was watching it live. The footage shows Adin on his stream when news of the shooting came through. His face dropped, the color drained, the usual high-energy, loud-mouthed persona gone, replaced with visible shock, fear, and something that looked a lot like guilt. You could see it in his eyes, the realization hitting him like a freight train. This is my fault. That's somebody's friend, someone's family member, someone who trusted Adin enough to be part of his world, and now they're dodging bullets because of beef that spiraled out of control. That's a level of responsibility that you can't just stream your way out of. That's trauma that doesn't go away when you log off. Fans in the chat went from spamming jokes to dead silence. Even the trolls stopped trolling for a moment because everyone watching realized this had crossed the line that can't be uncrossed. People started commenting things like, "This isn't content anymore," and "Somebody could have died." And they were right. Old clips resurfaced showing Convi allegedly planning to enter dangerous areas for content. Viewers now believe the shooting wasn't random chaos. It was a predictable result of constantly playing with fire. When you build a brand on controversy, when you disrespect powerful people, when you treat real-world danger like it's just another storyline for views, eventually reality bites back. Convi didn't ask for this, he was just part of the crew. And now he's dealing with the psychological aftermath of almost losing his life because someone in his circle couldn't control their mouth online. That's messed up. The invincible streamer persona Adin Ross had carefully crafted for years, shattered in that moment. The realization hit. Clout doesn't stop bullets. Views don't protect you. Followers can't save you when real danger shows up. And all the money, all the fame, all the internet points in the world mean nothing when someone you care about is in the hospital or worse. This was the moment everything changed. Not just for Adin, but for everyone watching who thought this was all just entertainment. This was the moment the internet stopped being a game.
Let's dig even deeper into the evidence because as more details emerged, the story became even more twisted than anyone initially thought. First, let's talk about the timeline of events because the speed at which everything collapsed is honestly mind-blowing. Day 1, Adin Ross makes disrespectful comments about Doechii on his livestream. At this point, it seems like typical internet behavior. Fans laugh, clip it, post it on Twitter, standard viral moment. Day 2, the comments reach TDE. Industry insiders claim the label was immediately furious, not just annoyed, furious because disrespecting their artists isn't just a personal slight, it's a business threat. If people think they can talk reckless about TDE artists without consequences, it sets a dangerous precedent. Day 3, Adin goes live and reveals the NBA deal is off. He's visibly frustrated but tries to play it cool, claiming it's just a temporary setback. Fans start speculating wildly about which NBA player it was. Names like Michael Porter Jr. get thrown around based on past interactions, but nobody can confirm anything. Day 4, reports emerge that Wack 100 allegedly got involved. Adin's entire energy shifts. He goes from defiant to defensive to straight up apologetic in record time. The internet notices immediately. Comments flood in saying he got the call. Day 5, Adin publicly states he'll stop disrespecting Doechii. No dramatic apology video, no explanation, just a quick statement that feels forced, like someone told him exactly what to say. Day 6, the Convi shooting incident happens. Everything changes. Now let's talk about the leaked information that fans have been dissecting frame by frame because online detectives turned this into a full-blown investigation. Clips from Adin's stream show him mentioning the NBA deal multiple times before it fell apart. He was hyping it up, telling his audience this was going to be the biggest collab of his career. He mentioned the player was very famous, implying someone in the top tier of the league. This wasn't a role player or a bench guy. This was supposedly a star. But here's where it gets suspicious. When the deal fell through, Adin claimed it was because of scheduling conflicts. Yeah, right. Fans immediately called BS because scheduling conflicts don't cause deals to vaporize overnight. Scheduling conflicts get rescheduled. The fact that it completely disappeared suggests something way more serious happened behind the scenes. Then Adin changed his story, claiming the deal was back on and would happen within 48 hours. But those 48 hours came and went, and nothing. No announcement, no surprise guest appearance on his stream, no follow-up explanation, just silence. That's when people really started questioning his credibility. Online sleuths started cross-referencing Adin's streams with NBA players' social media activity, looking for any clues about who the mystery athlete might be. They analyzed comment sections, looked for likes and follows, checked recent collaborations. Some fans became obsessed, creating spreadsheets and timelines trying to crack the case. One theory that gained traction was Michael Porter Jr. of the Denver Nuggets. Why? Because MPJ had interacted with Adin in the past, follows him on social media, and fits the profile of someone who might be interested in expanding their brand through streaming collaborations. But again, zero confirmation, just speculation based on digital breadcrumbs. Meanwhile, the Wack 100 involvement reportedly became an open secret in certain online circles. People who claimed to have industry connections started dropping hints, saying things like Adin got visited and he knows what's up now. The vague wording was clearly intentional, avoiding direct accusations, while still making it clear that something serious went down. Then came the Convi situation, which added a whole new layer of evidence and horror to the story. Leaked audio allegedly captured moments during or right after the shooting incident. You can hear panic, you can hear fear, you can hear people processing the fact that they just experienced real danger. And in the background of some clips, you can allegedly hear Adin reacting in real time, his voice cracking, the performative streamer persona completely gone. Fans online started connecting dots that maybe should have stayed disconnected. Some claimed the shooting was retaliation for the Doechii disrespect. Others said it was unrelated, but still a consequence of the dangerous lifestyle and areas Adin's crew was frequenting for content. A few conspiracy theorists even suggested it was staged, though that theory got destroyed by people pointing out that nobody risks actual legal trouble and trauma for views. What everyone agreed on was this: the shooting incident was the moment Adin realized he'd gone too far. Old clips resurfaced showing Convi talking about going to specific areas known for being dangerous. In one clip, someone off camera allegedly warns him it's a bad idea. Convi laughs it off, saying it's just for content and that nothing will happen. Viewers watching those old clips now felt chills because something did happen. The exact thing people warned about happened. And here's the darkest part of the evidence. Sources close to the situation claim Adin had been warned before any of this went down. People allegedly told him that constantly chasing controversy, disrespecting the wrong people, and putting his crew in dangerous situations for content would eventually backfire. He reportedly ignored those warnings, believing his platform and fame made him untouchable. The NBA deal falling through should have been the wake-up call. The alleged Wack 100 involvement should have been the final warning, but it took actual gunshots for the message to finally land. And by then, the damage was already done. Fans analyzing his recent stream say Adin looks different now. The energy's off, the confidence is shaken. He's allegedly more careful about what he says, who he mentions, and what situations he puts himself and his crew in. That's not growth, that's fear. That's someone who finally learned that consequences are real, and they learned it in the most traumatic way possible.
Now, this whole situation gets even crazier when you realize Adin Ross isn't the first internet personality to crash and burn after disrespecting the wrong people. There's actually a pattern here that's been repeating itself across the influencer world for years. Let me walk you through some similar situations because understanding the history makes this current disaster hit even harder. Remember when YouTubers thought they could say whatever they wanted about music industry figures and nothing would happen? There were multiple cases of influencers making jokes about rappers, only to have those jokes turned into real problems when the artists or their teams decided enough was enough. Some creators got their content flagged and removed. Others faced legal threats. A few even had to issue public apologies after allegedly receiving visits from people making it clear the disrespect needed to stop. The difference between those situations and Adin's? Most of those creators backed down before things escalated to violence. They read the room, understood they crossed the line, and retreated. Adin kept pushing even after the NBA deal fell through. He kept trying to save face instead of just taking the L and moving on quietly. There's also the broader issue of influencer culture and how it creates these disasters. Think about it. These streamers and content creators build audiences by being bold, by saying things others won't say, by pushing boundaries. Their fans reward that behavior with views, donations, and engagement. It creates a feedback loop where going further and further becomes necessary to maintain relevance. You can't just be controversial once, you have to top yourself constantly. That's how someone like Adin ends up disrespecting a TDE artist despite knowing the label's reputation. In the moment, the potential views probably seemed worth the risk. The chance to create a viral moment, to dominate Twitter trending topics, to remind everyone he's still the king of chaos. That dopamine hit overpowered any logical risk assessment. And the audience is complicit in this cycle. Every time fans spam W Adin when he says something reckless, they're encouraging the behavior. Every time a clip of him being controversial gets millions of views while his wholesome content flops, the message is clear: controversy pays. So why would he stop? Until it doesn't pay anymore. Until the consequences become real. Let's also talk about the people in Adin's life who allegedly tried to warn him before things spiraled out. Reports suggest multiple people in his circle, including other streamers and even some industry connections, told him he was playing a dangerous game. They allegedly warned that constantly beefing with people, making enemies, and treating real-world danger like content would eventually backfire. According to sources, Adin brushed off those concerns, believing his platform made him immune. That's the ego talking. That's someone who confused internet fame with actual power. There's also the financial angle that people aren't talking about enough. When Adin lost that NBA deal, he didn't just lose content, he lost money. These collaborations come with revenue opportunities, sponsorships, ad revenue from the viral clips, merchandise tie-ins, increased platform visibility. Losing a deal with a major NBA star could have cost him hundreds of thousands of dollars, possibly more. And when money gets involved, the stakes change. This isn't just about ego anymore. This is about financial stability, about maintaining the lifestyle he's built, about proving to brands and partners that he's still a viable investment. Every controversy that makes him look unreliable directly impacts his earning potential. That's probably why he tried so hard to claim the deal was back on. He needed people to believe he was still connected, still relevant, still someone worth doing business with. But the longer he went without proof, the more obvious it became that he was just trying to save face. Now let's talk about Convi's situation again, because there are layers to this that deserve more attention.
After the shooting incident, Convi reportedly went quiet on social media. No posts, no streams, no public statements. That silence speaks volumes. This is someone processing trauma. This is someone who looked death in the face and is now dealing with the psychological aftermath. And all because he was associated with someone whose internet beef spiraled into real-world danger. Friends of Convi reached out to Adin demanding answers. How did things get this out of control? Why wasn't the crew protected better? What's being done to ensure this never happens again? Those conversations haven't been made public, but the tension is reportedly real. And here's something that really bothers people about this whole situation. Adin has built an empire off putting himself and others in wild situations for content, bringing controversial figures onto his stream, having people do outrageous stunts, creating drama for views. But when that chaos finally manifests into real danger, where's the accountability? Where's the acknowledgement that maybe, just maybe, this approach has serious consequences?
And this story is still unfolding with way bigger implications than just one streamer's downfall. What we're seeing here is a moment that might actually change how influencers operate moving forward. The bigger conversation is about responsibility and the cost of clout culture. When you constantly chase controversy, when you treat disrespect like currency, when you blur the lines between entertainment and real-world beef, you're not just creating content, you're unintentionally creating danger for yourself, for your crew, for everyone in your orbit. Adin's situation is a wild example, but it's also a warning for anybody with a platform who thinks internet fame makes them invincible. Let's talk about what this means for the industry as a whole. Right now, there are hundreds of streamers and content creators watching this situation and processing what it means for them. The younger ones who idolize Adin are seeing that controversy has limits. The older ones who warned about this are feeling validated. And the brands considering influencer partnerships are taking notes about who's too risky to work with. This incident will be used as a case study in PR meetings. Managers will point to Adin Ross when explaining to clients why certain behavior can't be tolerated. Agents will reference this when drafting contracts that include morality clauses. The ripple effects are going to be felt across the entire content creation ecosystem. There's also the question of platform responsibility. Kick, the streaming platform Adin signed his massive deal with, has been largely silent throughout this situation. But behind the scenes, they're reportedly concerned. When your flagship creator becomes associated with controversy that leads to real-world violence, that reflects on your brand. Sponsors get nervous, advertisers reconsider, competitors use it as ammunition to claim your platform promotes dangerous behavior. Don't be surprised if Kick starts implementing stricter content guidelines as a result of this. They might not drop Adin, but they'll likely put guardrails in place to prevent future incidents that could damage their reputation further. Then there's the audience responsibility angle that nobody wants to discuss. The fans who encourage this behavior, who reward controversy with engagement, who push creators to go further, they're part of the problem too. Internet culture has normalized treating real people like characters in a reality show. We forget these are actual human beings with real lives and real consequences. The Convi shooting should be a wake-up call for audiences just as much as it is for creators. Your engagement has power, your encouragement has impact. And when that impact turns into someone almost losing their life, maybe it's time to ask whether the entertainment was worth it. What we're witnessing is the collapse of a certain type of influencer model. The model where shock value and controversy are enough to build an empire, where boundaries don't matter because virality is king, where real-world consequences are ignored because they happen off-camera. That model is dying, and Adin Ross is becoming the example of why. Moving forward, successful creators will be the ones who understand limits, who build brands on talent, authenticity, and value, rather than just chaos, who treat their platform as a responsibility, rather than just an opportunity to cash in. The creators who ignore this lesson will end up exactly where Adin is right now, isolated, discredited, and dealing with consequences that can't be undone. So, where does this leave Adin Ross now? And more importantly, what happens next? Because here's the thing, this story isn't over, not even close. Right now, Adin is in damage control mode. His streams have been noticeably different.
The energy is lower, the risks he takes are smaller. He's allegedly being more careful about who he mentions and what situations he puts himself in. That's not growth, that's survival. That's someone who got scared straight by reality. But the damage to his reputation might be permanent. Major brands are reportedly reconsidering partnerships. Other influencers are keeping their distance to avoid being associated with the controversy. And the NBA deal that could have legitimized him as more than just a shock value streamer? Gone. Possibly forever. There's speculation that Adin might try to reinvent himself, maybe pivot to more positive content, maybe focus on gaming rather than controversy, maybe attempt a redemption arc where he acknowledges his mistakes and shows genuine growth. But here's the problem with that. His audience built their loyalty on the chaos. If he changes too much, he risks losing the very people who made him famous. It's a trap with no easy escape. Some industry insiders believe Adin's career has peaked, and it's all downhill from here. They point to the pattern of controversy-based creators who eventually burn out when the controversies become too serious to ignore. Others think he'll bounce back because internet audiences have short memories, and someone will always be willing to platform chaos for views. Personally, I think this was the beginning of the end. Not an immediate collapse, but a slow decline where each new controversy does slightly less numbers than the last, where the offers stop coming, where the collabs dry up, where he becomes known more for what he lost than what he achieved. And the saddest part? It was all preventable. If Adin had just shown basic respect for Doechii, none of this happens. The NBA deal probably goes through. TDE never gets involved. Wack 100 never allegedly shows up. Convi never ends up in a shooting incident. His reputation stays intact. His career continues growing instead of crumbling. But he made a choice, and choices have consequences. The question now is whether other influencers learn from his mistakes, or if we're doomed to watch this same story play out again and again with different names until the entire system collapses under the weight of its own recklessness. There are already whispers about who might be next. Which creator is currently playing the same dangerous game Adin played? Who's disrespecting the wrong people, ignoring warnings, believing their platform makes them untouchable? The cycle continues until it doesn't. And when it doesn't, it ends like this, with gunshots, with trauma, with careers in ruins and people lucky to be alive. That's the reality check nobody wanted, but everybody needed.
Stay locked in because this story is still developing and you already know more details are about to drop. More information is coming out daily. More people are speaking up. More consequences are unfolding, and reports say Adin might actually address the full situation soon, though whether he'll be honest or just spin more narratives remains to be seen. So drop your thoughts in the comments right now because I need to know what you think about all this. Do you think Adin Ross brought this on himself, or do you think the consequences went too far? Do you think he'll actually learn from this and change his content, or is this just temporary damage control before he goes back to the same reckless behavior? And honestly, do you think other influencers are paying attention to this situation, or are they going to make the same mistakes until someone ends up seriously hurt or worse? Also, drop a comment if you think the mystery NBA player will ever be revealed. Do you believe the deal was even real in the first place, or was Adin just hyping up something that never existed to save face? The speculation is wild right now, and I want to hear your theories. And let's talk about Convi. Do you think you'll continue working with Adin after everything that happened, or is that relationship done? Would you stay loyal to someone whose beef almost got you killed? Heavy question, but it's worth discussing. Make sure you smash that like button if this video gave you the full story that the other drama channels aren't covering. Hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you don't miss a single update, because I'm covering every twist, every leak, every development as this situation continues to unfold. I appreciate every single one of you for rocking with me and supporting the channel. Your engagement is what keeps this going, and I see all the comments, all the support, all the discussions happening. You're not just viewers, you're part of this community. I'll see you in the next one, and remember, stay safe out there. The internet might feel like a game, but consequences are real. Cloud fades, views drop, but your life and the lives of people around you, that's what actually matters. Peace.